the stats were scary for Ireland as well. Pretty damning comments there from Christian Eriksen. We'll come to them in a moment about that Irish performance. And the statistics really back up what he was saying there about the defensive nature of that Irish performance. Denmark had 70% of the possession, 26 shots. Ireland had 3 shots in the match and not a single one on target. This Nations League campaign has given us 2 points, 1 goal and 7 shots on target over the whole thing. 5 of those came against Wales at home. Brian, was it any better tonight? Was there any improvement?
No. I mean, we didn't have a shot on target. I think that says it all. We had a few fleeting moments in the wide positions early in the match and a short spell in the second half. But we were forced into defending across our own 18-yard box and even deeper. And Aidan O'Brien started up front, but most of the match he spent about 40 yards from our own goal and sometimes even closer to our own goal. What I hope for tonight, Martin talked about, he was hoping for a wee bit of extra creativity. I think we needed a lot more than a wee bit of extra creativity, but we didn't see it tonight. We never saw anything in the middle of the field again. Didn't see Jeff Hendrick. I thought he was quite anonymous, apart from going around chasing and tackling. Didn't see him on the ball. Brady was a little bit better than the last game. And we just rarely have possession. Christie looks like a fish out of water to me playing the middle of the field. He needs to play right side, right back, or outside right, or right wing back. He's not comfortable in the middle of the field. And we were non-existent as an attacking force in the match. Defended with numbers and got away with a lot of brave blocks and tackling and headers out of the box. And we were compact in there. It was just because we had the numbers, but nothing in possession.
Yeah, he was saying he was delighted with the commitment, very strong, on top of the clean sheet being a positive thing. But did we get away with it tonight?
We did get away. Well, that's 3, you know, that's 3-0 all draws in the last 4 games. But, you know, you look at this, Richard Keogh getting it. We actually tried to play it out in the back there, and he got stuck, he got caught, and he had options to pass the ball. They should have scored. Jorgensen missed a big chance. You see, here he is again. You just see it again. He had options now. Really, Duffy should have been a bit closer to him. Hendricks was around, but didn't really want the ball, I felt. And they weren't clinical by any means. Eriksen had gone off at half-time. If they had been anyway clinical, just like the Northern Ireland 0-0, we would have lost the game 2 or 3-0. But I suppose Martin takes comfort in the fact that we didn't concede a goal. And, you know, maybe if that was the ultimate target tonight, you can say they achieved that. But I wouldn't like to be the FAI's commercial people tomorrow trying to sell tickets for the qualifying campaign based on the last few games. I mean, we haven't scored in 4 and we've involved in 3-0 all draws and Wales beat us 1-0 with a free kick. I mean, compared to what's going, unfortunately, with other sports right at the moment, your sales pitch would want to be very good.
Cure for insomnia, that's the tagline.
But I think not Thomas, but the one thing I would say, Brian's touching something there. Christian Eriksen, the best player, goes off at half-time. Man for man, they are not that much, I would say, if anything. We're certainly on a par with those other players in that side. Why on earth, at half-time, would we not recognise the fact is we can actually have a go at these? We can actually lift on. We're still always going to have that stability of a back 3. They're not going to move out of position. So why then aren't we playing a bit more adventurous in midfield?
Are they not being instructed to do that? After the last game, O'Neill said that the players needed to take the game by the scruff of the neck and show more character. Is it down to the players, or is it down to the way they're being coached, or the lack thereof, Kevin? What's your feeling about it?
There's a bit of everything, isn't there? When you're on the pitch sometimes and things aren't going well for you, it takes a little bit of steel, a bit of something within you to actually take the ball when things aren't going right for you. But of course it comes from Martin and it comes from Roy and his coaching staff. Of course it does. That's the basic things that you work on, little patterns of play, how you're going to stop the team. Yes, Martin's touched on that. We've got the basics right in stopping sides. But there is an onus on Martin and Roy and whoever it is that's coaching the team to get the best out of the players on the ball. How are we going to actually become that team that's going to be a bit more advanced? Martin's touched on we need to be a bit more creative. And we're not getting players in advanced positions to go and get goals and go and get crosses into the area on a regular basis, get players attacking the balls that's actually going into the penalty area. So often tonight we've got one player. Now, as I said, after half-time there, Tommy, they are not much better than us, Denmark. Denmark have qualified out of this group, and full credit to them. They've got a superstar in Christian Eriksen. But the other 10, no, I don't think they are much better than us.
So is that not down to the manager then, Mick, to instil a level of confidence, a structure to go and show a bit more than having, what, 3 shots on goal and none on target?
Well, we heard Martin say in his press conference with Seamus Coleman that he's the captain of the side, but he takes instructions from me, which you do with the managers, with the coaches, with the boss. So quite clearly that is the instruction. And Kevin picked up in one of the games, a little bit that we were watching, where Jeff Hendricks went to go and close down, and he backed off and didn't, because they don't want to get played around. They don't want to get played through. We can quite see that. They play very narrow. They'll let them go wide because Denmark are not really going to put crosses in the box. And if they do, the 3 big centre halves are going to deal with that. So they tried to force them down the middle, which is very difficult to play in that tight little area. But some of the joy, tiny little bits of joy that we thought they got. One was from a goal kick when they all pushed up and they nicked it and got it back up the field. Another one where Jeff Hendricks went and nicked it at the edge of the box and got a free kick, and Robbie Brady missed at the near post, and that was by going pressing the ball. So getting a little bit of joy out of being a bit more aggressive up the pitch, if you like.
And that's the other footnote from tonight's performance is that O'Neill has put to bed the issue of who he'll play for. Was he right to do that, Martin O'Neill, to bring Michael Obafemi on?
Well, Mick spoke about it earlier on as well. I think you're in the squad on merit, so why not? I've got no issue with that. I don't think he's in the squad just for the sake of giving him a cap tonight. I don't think that was the case. I genuinely don't think that. I would hope that isn't the case as well. So Martin O'Neill spoke about how he's impressed in training leading up to this game. He is still young. He's still very inexperienced. Hardly any of us, if any of us, have seen him play. We've not seen so much of him, so we wait and see now how he progresses. So it's a start for him from a personal point of view, and let's see if his international career progresses off the back of it.
Right to pick him, Mick? 24 minutes of Premier League football for Southampton?
Well,
devaluing a cap?
Oh, no.
No, it's not devaluing a cap. I said... So, as the manager, you get criticised then for playing the old guard all the time. You just go in with the tried and tested. So, if this kid comes out, they'll be lauding him for giving him his first cap. And if anything...
Has he earned it, though, Mick?
I haven't seen enough of him to tell you if he's earned it.
I'm not telling the story, though.
Who else have we got?
Sorry, let me just finish what I'm saying, though. So, how many players have Ireland got that have got real power and pace up front that can run behind him? I don't see too many. And if you've got one that's good enough to be in the squad, I said it before the game, give him a cap and play him. And if he's earned the right to be in the squad, who's seen him? I don't know. They must have got a scouting system out that's going to watch him. If they haven't, they're just giving him a cap because they want him capped. Is that fair? I don't know. But somewhere down the line, if he turns out to be that 20, 30 goals a season, goal scorer in the Premier League, we'll all be thinking Martin O'Neill did a great job. So give him a break on some of the things.
The competition has been a non-event for us. So it's a small shining light that we've got. If he progresses, he may not progress. He may not go and have 20, 30 caps. He may not score goals. We hope that he will. We hope he progresses into something special. And we hope now we can progress into the next campaign. He's still very young and inexperienced, so fair play. I'm not saying that he's going to just going to go on and now he's going to go and be this superstar, but hopefully he's.
But it was right for Martin to put that to bed.
It's right because Robinson, Hogan, Sean Maguire and O'Brien, none of them been sensational so far. Martin is still grappling for someone that might do the job.
What did you make of Hendricks' interview? It was interesting that he was picked man of the match. Like it was a hard job for whoever was whoever's job was Brian. But the general body language, the sort of trying to put a positive spin on it. Martin says that at the end of his interview that we heard earlier, I always get the best out of the players. He's bullish about this qualifying campaign. Is he getting the best out of the likes of Hendrick and the squad in general?
I think we were all excited by the emergence of the two Kevin's boys, Hendricks and Brady, going back to the qualifiers for Euros that Martin often goes back to. But their performances defined, particularly in the match with Italy when we won the game and the first hour against France before Duffy was put off. And in combination with a few other players, you know, when Wesley came into the matches and a bit of football got going, it looked like we had the potential to move on from where we were then, to develop into a good mixture of a football team, of tough and hard and resilient defensively. But that hasn't happened. Both of them seem to be almost standing still at the moment. Their influence in that, I know Brady's only coming back from injury, but overall his career as an international player, too dependent on if he delivers good set pieces. Why can't he deliver getting on the ball? And Hendricks tonight for me, I don't know who picked him. Well, I went for Coleman because he made a lot of blocks in their own penalty area and he got forward a couple of times.
Well, you were set out tonight to try and look for signs of progress, Brian. What did you find?
Well,
let's have a look at their best bits.
I dug deep and I found these few scraps of early what would you say, inventiveness from Stevens, getting his goal, getting the start, getting forward. Here he goes again. Good ball played out wide to him. Ankerson stands off, lets him get on. When he gets across, you see we got 4 in the box. Not a great cross, too loopy, not very good movement either. We could have done with Niall Quinn getting in there, a bit of movement. But this, Coleman makes something, Seamus makes something out of nothing here. He gets up off the ground when O'Brien picks her up. Cross into the box. It's a little bit of a wild kick out of here, misses it, Brady, and then it falls for Coleman. Now that is as near as we came to scoring a goal tonight. That was early enough in the game. Here's Christie, shakes off his man midfield, bit of a surgeon run, waits on Coleman. Might have been better to play it to Coleman. Thinks they're into the box. O'Brien wanted near post. He didn't want to play it into him. Here's Seamus joining up again, gets it off O'Brien, gets forward, looks up, doesn't see a lot happening in there, tries to make a cross in, unfortunately goes in. Now that was the best I could find.
Yeah, well done.
I mean, I left out the free kick that went into the side netting.
OK, what about the bad stuff then? The use of the ball was something we looked at very critically in the last game. What about tonight?
Well, there you go. You know, Kevin Long, that's his first time on it in the left-back position. Look at this one. He throws the ball into touch. You know, it's not very good, is it? Now, this is fairly representative. Here you go. Pick out their player when we're trying to play it out in the back, trying to be smart. Brady inside to Hendricks. And now look at that. Now, I'm not... They aren't just isolated things. This happened. I think they've lost confidence. I think the pattern of play, they're upset by the idea that we're pinned back in our own half.
Are they scared? What Ericsson said, is that fair?
Well, they were scared of the... Mick said we didn't want to see them playing in around us, in around our penalty area, getting in behind us. But look at this. Look at his options, you know. He just boots it forward. They recover it every time. This is the one you saw earlier where he gets caught. There's options. He can slip it out to Coleman again. You know, Shane Duffy should be over a bit further, maybe give an option. He could have went back to goalkeeper. He's trying to do something with it rather than just boot it up the pitch. But he gets caught on it. Really, Jorgensen should have scored. And you know that. But that's typical of a lot of how we were tonight. When we had the ball at the back.
And this was the general setup, Brian. It's just the shape
so
of the team.
Deep.
And how we were.
Look at us there. There's 10 players, a 5-4-1. Goes back to Rondorf. What's his option? He builds her up in the air. How are you going to do there? Give him a step ladder, he might win that one. But they pick up the next ball and away they go again. Look, we win it in the corner. We've 4 players around. Could you pass it to someone in the tight area and play out? No, built it forward. There's O'Brien. Chase after it. Can't get it. Now we're all back within 30 yards around goal. They switch the play. Away it goes again. Here we get it back. Now look how close. I just marked O'Brien there. How close he is to our goal. When we do eventually get a little bit of a knock on it, you know, he's the closest one to it, and yet they pick it up again. The second half was like that. We were pinned back there. I mean, I agree with Kevin. They're not that much better than us, that we should be playing as deep as that for the whole game. We were like a team hanging on for a 0-0 in a World Cup match. Desperation. We get out with 0-0 and we've qualified, or we've got a great point. But this is a game that it's a dead rubber. We're out of it. And
we look like a minnow there, Kevin, don't we?
Yeah, we certainly do. It is. It's like a team coming to Dublin. You say a Gibraltar or whoever. Name any side. It's the Faroe Islands, whoever it would be, where they're actually struggling.
Don't be harsh now. Don't be harsh.
But you know what I mean, though, Brian? It is.
You're better than that. San Marino and Andorra, I'd say.
No, but all right. Well, but I can name anyone where I'm thinking, well, we're going to dominate possession. Six of our starting 11 tonight Premier League players. Another one has played a season in the Premier League. All play for top Championship clubs, and you can't tell me. I've seen them all play for the clubs. I've all seen them play in Ireland shirt and play well. That you asked the question early on, is Martin getting the best out of the players? And I would say no, he simply is not, because of the calibre of players that we've got that's available to us.
Yeah, it's plain to see another grim night, unfortunately.